Page number 83. We'll continue from where we stopped. So we were seeing how these two were let's say, the first night, the first experience, how they were kept apart on two cages, and then they are allowed to come together. And how they are going to react, they did not know. And Bongo did not show much interest. Nandi also was shy. So now they were expecting anything could go wrong, things could happen. They were waiting with all the instruments in case something goes wrong to put it off. 83, second paragraph. This was a critical moment. The two gorillas and ourselves were frozen into immobility. So they were just frozen into immobility. They were freezed, just stopped like that without any movement. So we were standing outside ready to act, and they were inside, they were also not moving. So all were freezed. To any spectator who did not know the circumstances, we would have appeared like one of the more bizarre of Madame Tussauds exhibits. All of us looked like we are in an exhibition. We have seen how the table is put up. In a table, how people just stand still without moving. Then the curtain is drawn, you just see them staying there without moving. So if somebody hadn't known the circumstances, we know it. Those who do not know, they will think that a standstill position we are there. Then Nbongo stretched out a black hand with fingers like great sausages, clasped the wire, and rolled himself carefully to the ground. So Nbongo then came down to the ground. There he paused and examined a handful of sawdust, as though it were the first time he had ever come across such a commodity. So there was sawdust, sawdust, while sawing the wood, you get the dust that has been spread there. He came and he was just taking the sawdust in the hand as if he's seeing for the first time. It has been there for so many days, but this is a kind of just slowly getting used to the new visitor. In a casual, swaggering manner, he swaggered in a semicircle which took him close to Nandi, and then, without looking at her, but with the utmost speed, he reached out a long, powerful arm, gripped a handful of her hair, and pulled it, then hurried along the perimeter of the cage as though nothing had happened. So he did something very, very strange. So before that, I'll give you one or two meanings. Swaggering. Swaggering is speaking about the kind of movement. Behave, walk in a confident manner. That's the meaning of swaggering. Walk or behave in a confident manner. Giving importance to himself, self-importance. Giving importance to oneself. Or move in a confident way. That is swaggering. He swaggered in a semicircle which took the ground. So what he did was, Nandi is there, standing back, placing his back to the wall there. So now Npongo just comes and makes a circle, goes very close to it and goes like that. Then he comes and catch hold of her hair and pulled the hair and went away as if nothing has happened. So just came like a circle, making one circle, second circle like that. Then he came very close to Nandi and pulled her hair and went away as if nothing had happened. Nandi by nature has always been, and I fear will always be, a little slow in the uptake. And so Nbongo was some 6 feet away before she realized what had happened. By then, the baring of her teeth and her grunt of indignation were quite useless. So only when I realize that somebody is doing something to me, only then I can react. Nbongo was so fast in making the circle and pulling the hair. Even before Nandi realized, Nbongo was 6 feet away. So he did it, came like that, pulled and went away so fast. So only after he went away, only she realized. So it was useless expressing her anger or displeasure. So baring of her teeth, Nandi was baring her teeth and her grunt of indignation. Grunt is a sound. So sound expressing her unwillingness were quite useless. It was of no use. Because the act was already done. The first round, therefore, went to Nbongo, but before he could get exalted views of male superiority, I felt that we should bring up our second line of defense. We removed the buckets and nets and produced 2 large dishes full of a succulent selection of fruits. Succulent is tender and juicy. Succulent is a fruit having, which a tender fruit, you can say, tender fruit or a juicy fruit. That is succulent. So now you understood things will be okay. Things are better. So there is no need of having sticks and other things to attack. So now you have changed our defense. Instead of other things to attack them, the bucket full of water and sticks and other things, we kept it aside and we have now adopted something else. What is it? A large dish full of succulent selection of fruits, juicy fruits to offer them. There was one slight moment of tension when Nbongo, having examined his own plate, decided that possibly Nandi's contained additional delicacies which his lacked and went off to investigate. So when both were served basket full of fruits or tray full of fruits, Nbongo had a doubt or he wanted to examine whether Nandi got the same or something else. He was under the impression that he did not get some of the items which Nandi got, or Nandi must have given some special items. So he went close to Nandi's plate and checked whether both got the same or something else. There was one slight moment of tension when Nbongo, having examined his own plate, decided that possibly Nandi's contained additional delicacies which he lacked and went off to investigate. Investigate means to find out. Nandi, however, still smarting under the indignity of having had her hair pulled, greeted Nbongo's investigation of her plate with such a display of belligerence that Nbongo, being essentially a good-humored and cowardly creature, retreated to his own pile of food. With the next half hour, they both fed contentedly at opposite ends of the cage. So it's a kind of now Nandi reacted. When Nbongo went to investigate the plate of Nandi, Nandi reacted so vehemently that Nbongo got scared. So Nbongo had to move away. So he moved away and both of them started to eat from their own plates without coming in contact with each other. Another half an hour passed like that. We'll go to next paragraph. That night, Nbongo, as usual, slept on his wooden shelf, while Nandi, looking like a thwarted suffragette, curled up on the floor. All through the following day, they had little jousts with each other to see who would occupy what position. They were working out their own protocol. Should Nandi be allowed to swing on the rope when Nbongo was sitting on the cross beam? Should Nbongo be allowed to pinch Nandi's carrots even though they were smaller than his own? It had the childishness of a general election, but was 3 times as interesting. However, by that evening, Nandi had achieved what amounted to odds for female gorillas, and both she and Nbongo shared the wooden shelf. Judging by the way Nbongo snuggled up to her, he was not at all averse to this invasion of his bedroom. So now this paragraph is fighting for superiority. Who is greater? How much freedom can be allowed to each of them? So fight goes on. At the end, they become friends. Thwarted, Thwarted. Thwarted. Thwarted is frustrated. Frustrated or defeated. That is meaning frustrated. Suffragette is a connection with voting. Voting. See, the whole passage is comparing with the process of election. How election takes place, how people vote, at the end who wins. So it's a fight. Fight is going on for superiority. Normally now elections are declared in Uttar Pradesh. Starting from next month, elections will be there. So now who will win? People will vote. At the end, result will come. So the author is comparing the fight for superiority between Npongo and Nandi to an election process, and at the end, who will win? That's the question. That night, Npongo, as usual, slept on his wooden shelf, while Nandi, looking like a thwarted suffragette, that is a frustrated person who is going to cast his vote, curled up on the floor. So Nandi was on the floor, and Npongo was on the platform, sleeping nicely. All through the following day, they had little jousts with each other, a kind of fight to see who would occupy what position, who will occupy which position. That was a fight. They were working out their own protocol. Protocol is a set of rules. They were working out their own protocols, means set of rules they were forming. Who will do what, who should not do what. Should Nandi be allowed to swing on the rope when Nbongo was sitting on the cross beam? Nbongo is sitting on the cross beam. Can Nandi that time use a swing to use for swinging, for a swinging, like a cradle? Is it allowed? Should Nbongo be allowed to pinch Nandi's carrots even though they were smaller than his own? So Nandi was, both are eating carrot. But when Nandi is eating carrot, can he pinch him? Pinch her? It had the childishness of a general election, but was 3 times as interesting. So that's how he is comparing with the general election process. However, by that evening, Nandi had achieved what amounted to votes for female gorillas, and both she and Nbongo shared the wooden shell. Anyway, at the end, it looked like the seat reserved for women. You have certain constituencies reserved for women. There only women will win, men cannot win. So it looked like that. It was reserved for women. Nandi won the competition. And we could see both of them sharing the same seat. The fight for superiority was over, and Bongo was defeated or yielded, and Nandi won the race. Judging by the way Nbongo snuggled up to her, he was not at all averse to this invasion of his bedroom. So, meaning of snuggle is settle down into a warm and comfortable position. Settle down to a warm and comfortable position. So, it is something like in the we are asked to follow social isolation, keep away. But when the winter season started, all of you like to sit 2, 3, 4 in a bench. And I asked the students, sit separately. They said, no, it's very cold. So it's very comfortable to sit like this. So that's the meaning of snuggled up. Snuggle up means sit one close to the other so that you are warmed up. You are feeling comfortable. So now Nandi and Nbongo, the way they were sitting, one close to the other, touching each other and feeling the warmth of it, said that it judged by the way Nbongo snuggled up to her, he was not at all averse to this invasion of his bedroom. He was not at all unhappy with the invasion. Invasion is attack. Actually, Nandi attacked the bedroom of Nbongo. Nandi is a stranger who came into the room and now he has occupied the bedroom, the bed of Nbongo. But Nbongo was not unhappy. That means he seemed to be happy. So the whole process of bringing them together for the first time was a successful one. It was obvious from the first that the marriage of the gorillas was going to be success. Obvious is very clear. It was very clear from the beginning it will be a successful one. Although they were so different in character, they quite plainly adored one another. Here, adored means respect, love, and respect. Adore, love, and respect. So, though they were different, they respected the other. And Bongo was the great giggling clown of the pair, while Nandi was much quieter, more introspective and watchful. That we have already seen. Nandi was very keeps itself aloof, very reflective. Whereas Nbonga was like a joker. He was always very humorous. Introspective means one who looking into oneself is called introspection. Introspection is looking into oneself. That is a kind of brooding over oneself, self-examining, reflective. That's the meaning of introspective. So Nandi was introspective, whereas Nbongo was quite humorous. Nbongo's bullying and teasing of her was all done without any malice and out of a pure sense of fun. And Nandi seemed to realize this. Malice is harm. Malice is HARM, harm or ill. Malice, harm or ill. Bullying, bullying is a kind of a sort of making fun of, teasing. All these things are part of bullying. When new students come, the old ones will bully. So bullying. Nbongo's bullying, that is, he's making fun of Nandi or pulling her hair and other things, and teasing of her was all done without any malice, without any ill will. You can say malice is harm, ill. Okay, without any harm. He did not want to cause her any harm. It was only for fun. And out of a pure sense of fun, and Nandi seemed to realize this. So only for fun he was doing it, not to create any harm to them. And Nandi also realized it. Occasionally, however, his good-humored teasing would drive her to distraction. It must have been rather like being married to a professional practical joker. When she reached the limit of her endurance, she would lose her temper and with flashing eyes and open mouth would chase him round the cage while he ran before her, giggling hysterically. If she caught him, she would belabor him with her fists while Npongo lay on the ground curled up in a ball. Nandi might as well have tried to hurt a lump of cement in spite of her strength, for he would just lie there laughing to himself, his eyes shining with good humor. As soon as she trying to make some impression on his muscular body, Nandi would stalk off to the other end of the cage, and Nbongo would sit up, brush the sawdust from himself, and beat a rapid tattoo of triumph on his breast or stomach. Then he would sit with his arms folded, his eyes glittering, working out some other trick to annoy his wife. You can just note down if you want some meanings. Endurance, endurance is tolerance. Endurance is tolerance. Hysterically. Hysterically is affected by uncontrolled emotion. Affected by uncontrolled emotion. Belabor is attack physically. Belabor is attack physically. Then towards the end, last but 4, 5 line, stack off. Stack off means walk away angrily. Walk away angrily. Tattoo. Okay. So I will just summarize that paragraph. It's already getting time. I'll summarize that paragraph. That is to say that whenever Npongo made fun of her, she was able to bear it. But he always went on making fun. After some time, she used to get wild, get angry. Then she will show some expression and attack him. So when Npongo was attacked or Nandi runs after Npongo will be in front and running, and they'll be chasing going on. At the end, when they reach, Nandi is able to reach Npongo. Npongo will roll himself and lie down on the floor, and Nandi will go and attack him physically. But he was so strong, it looked as if Nandi was hitting a cement bag. Nothing happened to Npongo. When Nandi gets tired of hitting him, she will stop and go to the other corner. That time, Npongo will get up and either he will beat on his stomach or on his chest and say, I am the winner. I am the winner. That's it. That's all.